And looks like we are underway. Both getting a start in Link's house and both finding a piece of heart.
And a very quick save and quit there from Mclagging going to the Dark Chapel instead. We
also had a very...
Oh, yeah.
We were about to say the same thing. Very quick map check. Pod and Skullwoods are pendants that aren't the green pendant, and then all the other Dark Worlds were non-5/6 crystals. So very interestingly, we are in the Light World. We have a green pendant and the 5/6 crystals.
So yeah, the three crystal pendants. There's the first sword on Stumpy. Stumpy, you were actually useful today. Congratulations. But yeah, those 3 pendant crystals that lock things behind them are all in the Light World. So it'll be interesting to see if any of those come into play.
Having the sword will certainly help.
And not often you see a dungeon dip here at 104 into Skull Woods.
But the thing is, you need bombs, and the only reliable way to get bombs that I know of in the Dark World at this state is in those dungeons.
That's absolutely correct, and that's what Mclagging is doing right now. So for those keeping track at home, what the game modes are again, Ganon has to be defeated. That's our win condition. It's Inverted Seed. We've got randomized swords. Obviously, we found one of them already. Yeah, finding a heart there in the chess game. And it's normal difficulty. So, and no special modifiers above and beyond that, like retro or anything like that.
Right, because since we are playing with Inverted, Randomizer and Key Sanity can actually be used in the randomizer if you so choose, but for the purposes of this tournament, we left them out.
Yeah, because those are a layer of complexity on top of Inverted itself, and really, it's one of those things where you just like, it's just probably too much complexity for the tournament with Inverted being so new. We'll just kind of keep it fresh. There's the lamp in Thieves Town, first chest.
If you're wanting to go to AGA 1 at GT, you've got 2/3 of the equation at this point.
And a lift upgrade. The first
which is the other third.
Oh boy. Well, that's kind of, as you said, Jex, kind of screaming maybe AGA 1, but, you know, very early on here, we're only 3 minutes into this. I don't think we're going to see anybody make that call right away.
One thing that I always mention at some point that I suck at this game. I really suck at Inverted because I am not good at doing low health blind fights. And one of the things I actually find that you want to see is you don't want to see hammer or sword or any ways that you can kill blind, because then that may mean you have to kill blind at this low health.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, DK taking a death there. A not accidental death, walked right into Zezek's. So hard to see with some of these platforms above. You can't quite always tell where they're coming from until it's too late. But the good news is just a short walk back to get to the back half of Thieves Town here. So,
and 8-bomb tree poles.
Book Medora.
We have some literacy.
Which unfortunately is not very useful here in Dark World. All the Medora blocked stuff is in Light World.
But not much doing in the... Not much doing in Hype Cave today.
No, it doesn't look like it, but, you know, early on, like, at this point, with the Dark World, it's definitely a check you want to do. Some bombs in Mimic's Cave, Mimic Cave, I should say, not Mimic's Cave, is the hint in Thieves Town. And with those hints too, those hint tiles, of course, for those who are new to the V30 randomizer, that's a new feature. Those telepathic tiles now give out hints. Some are good hints, some are meh, kind of might point you in the right direction, but they don't give a lot of info. And a couple of them in every game are troll hints that are humorous or of no value, or from the wrong game.
And someone in chat is saying no Pearl, but still in Dark World. Fist Gunnar, actually. Yep, this is inverted mode. We start in the Dark World. You need to get to the Light World, and the Moon Pearl allows you to stay as Link in the Light World.
Indeed. So by the way, while Link is in his regular form in the Dark World, bunny music gets to play, and it is great music. So that's like one of the best things about inverted mode is that you get to hear the bunny. As Julian is saying in chat as well, I agree with us. You get to hear the bunny music for longer.
Unpopular opinion alert. I actually don't like the bunny music all that much.
That's all right. Hey, Master Sword. Showing up in the brewery. And just to kind of mention something else about those telepathic tiles, we're seeing, as we saw here from DK, we're seeing a little bit of route change with those tiles now. We're seeing some new little twists and decisions that are being made. Like, instead of going and immediately flipping the switch there in Thieves Town, we're seeing a lot of people go open the door, go upstairs, check the tile, come back down, flip the switch, and go back up again.
It's also interesting as we did get the small key, but no sight of the hammer just yet, so not sure if we're gonna have an item. But time for 4 hearts, green male blind fight. If you can follow the script, you're good. If you're like me and you can't follow the script, not so much.
Indeed, and with the top 96, a lot of our runners kind of know the score by now.
As DKS shows, down goes blind. $50 for your troubles, and the first crystal of the game 7 minutes in.
Absolutely. Welcome to inverted mode, where this is a sure possibility. So one thing I'm thinking too is, as far as these early checks go, do we have the map and the compass out of Thieves Town yet? And if not, could one of them be in the big chest there? And maybe it's not even required to go check.
I know I saw the compass. I think I think that's map
upstairs. Okay. Yeah, I believe the compass was in the upstairs chest in the room that you have to bomb the floor.
All right, but now we're going to see Dig Game. Honestly, this early on, even if you find the prize early, which is the Moon Pearl.
That is incredibly awesome.
But as I was about to say, I would still be digging to get more cash, because we're kind of cash-strapped early on.
And I'm going to end Rest in Peace, Wendy Link song. So yeah,
basically, oh, sorry.
I think we're going to talk about the same thing. Go for it.
Yeah, because I think Guy McGuy in chat, how does the rest of progress work in Inverted? What's the current items? What's open? Basically, Death Mountain. We've pretty much checked everything. The lamp and the power glove, will allow us to get the old man home. Super Bunny Cave, you can check inside Spectacle Rock. Oh wait, we have the Moon Pearl, so even as a bunny, you can check inside Spectacle Rock. That's about it. Indeed.
So yeah, one of the things to keep in mind when you're thinking of logic in this game is that some of the locations are swapped around. Some of them are simply swapped around because the game is... We simply can't, put them in their actual locations where they would be in the Dark World, so we have to kind of do it this way. And for example, we're seeing a change here as well with the old man. Got to walk him all the way up the mountain to go to the portal. You'll also see that there is a ladder here at the foot of what would normally be Ganon's tower, but that's because of the fact that we don't have to do the thing where we go all the way up and go to the Dark World, mirror onto Spectacle Rock, and mirror back off, mirror when you're on top of it.
Ooh, Mclagging taking a death. Press F to pay respects.
That's rough. That's a rough start. I like that. Old man gets stuck up on top and just walks through the mountain and get home.
And unfortunately now, Blind is going to be at the top of the room. But hey, you got Master Sword Beam, so that also helps.
Yes, indeed. And shouldn't be too difficult. But again, we're seeing another little bit of routing divergence here due to those tiles. There's a hint tile up here, which is going to say a piece of hearts on Spectacle Rock. Wow!
G game! Thank you! Thank you very much!
Oh, that's such a bad hint. Such a useless hint up there. But one of the routing changes we're seeing a lot now is instead of going through the top side door to Spectacle Rock, people are just jumping down, doing a blind check of that, but they're also checking that tile now at the same time. And of course, one of the changes for inverted is that the Death Mountain spawn on the Dark World is in the exact same spot it would normally be, but just in a different dimension.
And we're going to see Super Bunny Cave from DKS if we can get past those Lionels. It may be inverted mode, but they still pack quite a wallop. As DKS takes death, have to pay respects.
And there we go with Mclagging picking up that Moon Pearl now.
Alright. And I don't think DKS did go into Skullwood, so this is new for him, where we're going to see Mclagging ascend Death Mountain.
Indeed. Delta Function asking in chat, Mclagging behind for a reason. It is a little bit of route divergence here. Mclagging did go into Skullwoods when DKS is just going in now. And there was a unfortunate death for Mclagging on the blind fight, so that was a little bit of time lost there. But it should actually be fairly close between these two runners. We're going to see them kind of doing a little bit of backtracking, for what the other has already done at this point. So they'll probably, once we get done with the Skullwoods and Dark Death Mountain checks, be fairly close.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Super Bunny Cave is still in play, but there is still a chance we need Aga 1 to get beyond Light World Death Mountain.
One of the things that's always really interesting about inverted mode, as it looks like DKS is going to take a death warp here, is that a lot of the logic checks and whatnot are actually not terribly different. It's not wildly different. Hey, we're getting a map check from Mclagging as well. Eastern Palace Vanilla Pendant screen, which leaves the 5-6 crystals at Hera and Desert Palace.
Okay.
There's that old man going through the mountain, just phasing through there like no problem. Yeah, there's a lot of things that, as far as early routing, are different, but at the same time, there's a familiarity to them because a lot of the areas where things are, you just have to kind of make a small change here and there to get the routing in. But DKS can go back over and try and avoid these Lionels.
He got bodied by one, so dodges it, gets through.
Whew, okay, he's good. We're gonna check. Piece of Heart is on Spectacle Rock and Mclagging, like what?
Meanwhile, Turtle Rock is Vanilla Quake. Now you can't actually climb up on the turtle's tail and activate Turtle Rock again because of inverted with the mirror taking you from light to dark. We kind of had to, I say we, and I did develop this game, some things had to be done in order to make sure that places were still accessible, and I think it's Aga time.
Oh boy. Well, we're gonna get a chance to take a look at that. We're back up the Dark Mountain here. And one of the things to keep in mind, of course, is that Yen's Tower is now the Aga Tower, and Castle is now where you go to get into GT.
Very
interesting.
Nicely. Yeah. Very nicely done using the bomb to damage boost your way through the Lionels.
That was a great idea. You got the two Lionels together there and just use the iframes from the bomb damage recovery to just get by them, no problem. I like that. That's a good strat.
DKS made a little mistake of hitting the portal, and now he has to ascend the Death Mountain again.
Indeed. Good news for DKS. This is not like the regular vanilla climb, and you have to climb all the way back up again. And starting from the bottom, it's a little bit shorter, so it won't be too bad for him here.
It's pretty much going to even it out, because both DKS and Mclagging are making their way to Aga Tower now, so this is going to really even it out, and once we get through Aga Tower, you're going to see how inverted plays different, because it feels very cloistered and claustrophobic to start, and then as soon as we get to the light world, the seed just gets shot out of a cannon.
Which in a way kind of is the same thing as we see a lot of times with the regular seeds, where you get to we get dark world access, and like the whole world, if you're using a tracker, just lights up almost always when that happens with all of your locations you can check. So we're going to see DK is about a floor ahead of Mclagging right now as far as location within the Aga Tower fight here.
Basically, DKS has a one-floor advantage, and some caches in plain sight. Thanks, hint.
Great hint, yeah. So that probably means it's in a location that's obviously visible. So like floating island up on Light World, Death Mountain, Lake Hilly Island, somewhere like that. Bumper Cave.
It's the thing about these hints are like most of them are so banal to where it's just like, okay, that's useless. Okay, it's that's useless. But you still feel like you have to do them for that one time. The hint's like, oh, that actually helps me out.
Yep. I think the last race we called? There was actually a very valuable hint for one of those tiles that said explicitly where a needed item was. Except both of our runners didn't at the time. They didn't know they needed it, but it was kind of a big deal once we got to late game. We knew that we needed that to get into a dungeon.
Yep. All right, Neon. How many blue balls do you think we're gonna see from the old bad wizard today?
I think he's gonna have some mercy on us. I'll only say 2.
I'll go 4 then.
I think our wizard friend's going to be a little bit generous here. So for those who always remember, first one's always free. First one's always a regular fireball. There's 2. Need 6 to take them down.
Yeah, the next we've had 2 random ones. This will be the last of the 3 random, which were all regular ones. So we're at 4 right now. The 5th one will be lightning. So and then the pattern starts again. So we'll get a free one, so we'll already be at 5.
And we'll see if this is going to be another one. If it's going to be super generous today, maybe 0. There's
nope,
one.
There's one. And 2. So that's your guess.
It's going to be 3.
No,
it's going to be 2. Okay, awesome.
Very nice.
I thought maybe since we guessed 2 and 4 and we got 2 of them, and the last one might be a blue ball, just to make it 3, make it right in the middle.
Alright, so DKS is gonna first head for the escape sequence.
So a lot of these early game locations, what would be early seed locations in a regular normal run, will now be accessible to all of the runners, to both the runners, and they'll be able to kind of work their way through it. Get a lot of these. We used to call them Sector 0 because that's when the randomizer would do that. It'd be like, oh, Sector 0, first thing that gets sorted or whatever. But I usually tend to prefer just to call them early game because it gets confusing when you start getting that hard into the logic.
Old man giving us what love he has left. Yeah, I think my understanding from the logic is what is called Sphere 0 is essentially what Link starts with. There's the arrow of destiny.
Hooray!
DKS before the race in SRL was saying that he was gonna make sure he finds the arrow of destiny. Well, he did. But anyway, Sphere 0 is what Link is actually equipped with at the start of the race. And then Sphere 1 is all of the checks that you can do with what you are given to start the race.
Indeed. Ball and chain guard goes poof, big key gets activated, and it's a tempered sword. Nice.
And
a death warp.
And a death warp. Sorry. So I imagine we'll see sewer chest. In fact, in some ways, I probably would expect DKS to basically just run the whole rest of the escape and just go right to Sanctuary. Because that's one of the things with Inverted is there's no easy way to get to Sanctuary because save and quit puts you at the Dark Sanctuary. Alright, B-Torp in the cross room.
And that will be nice because that will open up Sick Kid for when they get to Kakariko. And Mclagging as well, going ahead and taking care of the Death Warp.
Alright, back of escape. There's the map. There's an empty bottle. And the hook shot.
Nicely done. So that's going to mean with the key and the map being found that we have an item in the Sanctuary chest.
Hook shot will get us to East Death Mountain in the Light World, but without the hammer, we still can't. We won't be able to get to Hera just yet. And we got a Twitch Prime sub from Linux user 437442. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Enjoy your wonderful new emotes here.
And you're starting to see some of the things we have to do with inverted mode, like put a ladder so we can actually check Graveyard Ledge. So I imagine DKS is now going to head for Kakariko.
Yeah, I would think Kakariko maybe along with a check of Lost Woods, possibly along the way, and maybe even looking at Lumberjack Ledge. Do have Aga
that makes
defeated.
sense. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. With Aga 1 down already, it's really just a matter of you need the boots and then you can get whatever item is there.
Exactly, and if it's a required item for game completion, you know that the boots are going to be required at some point. It's just 10 arrows, though.
So, not worth their trouble.
Of course, the other fun thing, too, about Lost Woods is now, since you've defeated Aga, it becomes more difficult.
Is that just a single green rupee? And, well, that must be the money that's in plain sight.
It could be it. Wow. 10 arrows.
And, yeah.
Some possibility here, we do have access to 2 dungeons at this point. Right away. Desert Palace, of course, with the Book of Medora, and Eastern Palace. Desert, of course, being the crystal, maybe the one that you want to do first. In fact, it's actually, if it's not boots locked, it's fully completable.
Now, the one thing, yeah, without the... Well, actually, okay, Desert is full clearable with the lamp, but we still would need the bow for Eastern. Swagnet and Blindside.
I'm sure it's just what DK wanted to see.
If this was an overworld glitches seed, the getting to Kakariko, or getting to Desert Palace from Kakariko would be very, very straightforward. But no glitches, no major glitches allowed in this race.
Nope. So they'll have to do the long walk all the way down. But more about that later, because we got chests to check right now, and Kakariko well.
Mm-hmm. Getting a lot of love. Life. Yeah. Plus blue mail. So now we see that DKS is actually using the hat link, hat color link.
Yes, indeed. I was just about to point that out too. There's a couple of different variations on that. There's a tunic one, there's a hat link one, there's one where the sprite basically just takes the colors of both and applies them to the whole sprite. There's like 130 some sprite options in this. There's the flute. That's a nice find at Kakariko as well.
Yeah. And DKS will, of course, activate that flute. Someone was English Narwhal in chat. Can someone explain what overworld glitch would make it easy to get into desert? Basically, in overworld glitches, you're able to basically clip through cliffs and whatnot, and then be able to basically go places you shouldn't be able to. And so the way the map is set up, Desert Palace is right below the race game. So if you clip up there, you can get right to desert. So that was what I was referring to. But again, this is not an overworld glitches tournament. Those aren't allowed.
Indeed. We did have a tournament for that at some point. I remember that. It's actually kind of incredible to see what you can do with that glitch. And of course, there's a reason why it is considered a major glitch, because it essentially breaks the game wide open as far as where you can go and what you can get.
Yep. But we have drugs in the back of the tavern, and ladies and gentlemen, at this time to honor Hyrule, please join us for the playing of the National Swag Deck Anthem. And with that, the Hawk's about to rock, and we salute you.
Just a little bit of love at the end of the maze game there. The Bloomerang is on the library shelf. So that will end our Kakariko journey for DK, who's now going to be making the trip down all the way to Swamp, probably taking the big boulder detour here. Oh, actually, yeah, K45. That's right. Just 10 arrows
has more
there.
sticks.
So yeah, it's another one of the small accessibility changes, of course, that have been done for inverted because of the fact that you would normally have to mirror from the Dark World to the Light World to get to there. And I think we'll probably actually see some more changes as well with that, because Bombos now has a ladder that leads up to it for the very same reason.
Mm-hmm. As well as the Lake Hylia Island.
Desert Tablet is going to be accessed from the Light World. There's a ladder up the side of the mountain that will let our runners just walk up there and check it, and I'm certain both of them will.
Mm-hmm. Should also point out, since we got the flute earlier, that the flute, because of this being inverted mode, the flute actually works in the Dark World. So if you're wondering why our runners are not using the flute to make it quickly to South Shore, it doesn't work in the Light World anymore. And a whole lot of nothing in Mini Trolldorm Cave other than health and money.
That's a great idea, Bob. Here, let me take that. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to fold that piece of paper up, and I'm going to put it in this special file that looks like a trash bin so that our devs never see it.
For those that may watch this on the YouTube restream later, our fellow co-commentator, Dr. Bob Tastic, said for the next mode, all overworld tiles shuffled independently to Light and Dark World, so each world can have pieces of both. I'm guessing you're not a fan of that.
I think it would just kind of, I think it'd be cool to watch. I think to run and be kind of like, oh my god, what is going on here? Suddenly I'm like halfway through desert and now I'm in Misery Mire. Why? But it would be kind of interesting actually to see if that was kind of thing would be possible without breaking the game too much. We do have a really great dev team. I just don't know how much support Super Nintendo can take.
So interesting. Okay, so we're gonna see Hookshot Cave. That's what DKS is heading for, and then we'll see if DKS decides to do Light World East Death Mountain. Mclagging continuing to head through South Shore. There's Quake, so I imagine we'll see a fake flipper here shortly.
Yeah, looks like Mclagging is setting up the fake flipper.
And the mirror on Lake Hylia Island. Alright, and DKS is going to head to Paradox Cave. Imagine Mclagging will be on his shortly behind. So certainly, with the mirror being on Lake Hylia Island, that means the flippers are going to be locked, or the mirror is going to be locked behind the flippers.
Absolutely. And it does give a slight little, I wouldn't say, I don't know if I want to say advantage here to Mclagging, but it's nice that he's got the mirror and is able to fake flipper over there. DK can do that as well, just hasn't chosen to do that yet.
Okay, we got another B-Torp, and speaking of flippers...
We cursed them. Well, Mclagging did all that fake flippering, set up all 2 seconds of it for not a whole lot. Because the flippers, just like the friendships, were already on, were things that we made along the way. And half magic on the floating island. That's gonna be a nice utility find for both of our runners, and I'm sure they'll both grab it since it's right there.
Now, the one difference you will also be able to see at this point is Mclagging having that sequence broken mirror. If he so chooses, he can mirror from light to dark world and could actually do parts of Turtle Rock at this point.
You know, I'm seeing it in chat as well, and I think I agree with them. The play Swamp Palace. You have hookshot, you have mirror, you have flippers. You can go do it.
You're
Why
missing
not go do it?
Because you kind of
hammer. Yes. That's right. I always forget about that. That first switch is hammer lock. That's right. JP saying no Henry, so can only get 1 swamp chest before correcting the hammer. I believe we now have to call the hammer Henry. This is now canon. So thanks, JP. And it's going to be Ether, so that's vanilla medallion for both dungeons.
Very nice.
I do wonder if we're going to see a bird toss today.
Of course, Blinger Bunny has to say, why not call the Hammer MC?
Because we're too legit.
Too legit to quit.
Too legit to quit calling it Henry.
DKS forgetting that not having Titan's Mitts means he can't use the portal there. And Mclagging is heading into Turtle Rock.
So we'll see what's in the big chest here.
It's the big key. And I think DKS may be forgetting something because he tried to go back into Aga Tower for some reason.
So one of the cool things we're getting to see here as well is that Mclagging kind of going backwards through Turtle Rock here. There's the fire rod. Ooh.
Okay.
Boy, that was a nice find. That's going to help out a lot. It's going to open up the rest of Skull Woods as well, which is a pendant dungeon, so we may not see that completed. But if there's something on the Mothula fighter in the chest in the back half there, that will be very important to find. Plus, we need it for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I got excited, but now actually that I'm thinking about it, you're right. With Skullwoods being a pendant dungeon, it really is only big if we need to go back into Skullwoods for some reason. Because even if you just need Fire Rod to get to Trinex, you'd have to imagine that at some point DKS is going to start heading through Turtle Rock. And as I was saying all that, Ether Medallion was in a Genus Cave.
Absolutely, that's a nice find there. If you noticed, Jex, both of the medallions that we need were in locations adjacent to their dungeons.
It's almost like the seed is trying to tell them something.
Absolutely.
Alright, just arrows on the desert ledge. And another function of inverted mode. You need the book to get into the desert. The backdoor option is not possible because the mirror going from light to dark.
All right, let's see what's inside Desert Palace here.
Small key to start. Mclagging heading for Laser Bridge.
He's going to find a small key there in that first chest. Gotta do this the hard way, unfortunately, so we'll probably see some death resets.
Would certainly be easier if Mclagging went to Desert and got that Cane of Brian. If Mclagging went to Desert and got the Cane of Brian that DKS just found.
And DKS finding the big key as well, so that means that we are not boots locked out of completing this dungeon. Now, we don't know what's on the torch. Could still be the second item, but I don't know. At this point, we haven't seen compass or map. I would wager one of them sitting on the torch, and if it's not, then we know what the last two items are. There's a hint back here. Heart container and some cash requires a big red bomb, so 5-6 crystals is not gonna be worth any extra effort.
Nope. Alright, there's the second item, big 20.
Alright, so we know that the map is on Lamola's, and I would not be surprised to see DK go ahead and just finish this out right now.
Yeah, because even though we don't need to go to Fat Fairy, we still need the crystals for Ganon. Alright, so now we're going to see Mclagging turn in that mushroom that we found at the back of the tavern.
It's one of those things that you hopefully, when you do this as a late check, you hope it's not a needed item, because then you feel really dumb if you found it early. You're like, I could have did this an hour ago. And it's a big 20, so... Oh, he's going to save and quit to keep it.
No, he's going to hard reset to keep it, but...
Hard reset, yeah, that's what I meant to say, sorry.
No worries, man. No worries at all.
I knew the thing he was doing, I just forgot the name for a moment. But yeah, hard resets. He's going to keep that mushroom in case he finds the Cane of Samaria to do the fake powder. While DKS is taking on Landmola's, trying to get that second crystal.
It's got one of the worms down.
There's two.
There's two. One more to go. There we go.
And of course, there's the map, as we expected.
Alright, let's see what the hobo has. Butter!
I don't think it's not necessarily important for either of our runners at this point, but I don't think they'll say no to it.
You know, we were talking about dungeons earlier that are accessible. That fire... There is one thing we forgot about with... when we were saying that that Mclagging found the fire rod in Turtle Rock. That opens up Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, that does, because... oh, and Catfish is going to have... a blue bottle of goo, so that will also be very welcome for Mclagging. Getting a free blue bottle was nice to have. Yeah, Ice Palace is certainly within logic now, especially as a full clear instead of doing go mode.
Or DKS can't even get in right now without that fire rod. Alright, Zora Ledge is having a big 20. interesting to see. Oh, DKS didn't do Uncle Tunnel, so that's what he's doing right now. Mclagging, on the other hand, there once was a fish named Zora who gives you flippers in vanilla. In Rando, he sucks for 500 bucks. We did the stupid trick for 20 bucks.
Love that poetry. Oh yeah,
JP,
we also do need the hammering. That's right.
Yeah, we were both gonna get that. JP was reminding us we can get into Ice Palace, but without the hammer, we can't full clear Ice Palace.
Right. What if Ice Palace? But anything could be an Ice Palace. It could even be a hammer.
It could be a hammer. Hammer could also be in the first chest's swamp.
That is always one of the gambles you see people make sometimes. You'll see people make sometimes is they make this gamble that, you know, I need this item to go into a dungeon and complete it, and I'm just gonna guess that it's in there somewhere, and it's a big risk, especially when you have other locations you can check to go ahead and do that. But we see it. I think I see it a lot more often when it's one dungeon that you can kind of all but complete, and then you just have a bunch of like out of the way overworld checks to do.
I think Mclagging is... I guess Mclagging's gonna make his desert play. Yeah, other than Skullwoods for Mclagging with that fire rod, there just really isn't an optimal dungeon to go through right now. All the ones that we can get into, we can't finish. And also the one we can finish, which is Skullwoods, is a pendant.
Yep, so I guess the question is, if you have a bunch of locations that are not like fully completable, you know, that becomes the hardest thing, I think. When you have like a bunch of dungeons open, you can go into all of them, but you can't really complete one of them yet. Which one do you go into and check for where your item is?
Yeah, I mean, I know they're both pendants, but I would probably seriously be thinking about a pod Eastern combo dip right now, because that's the most item dense location that's available, even though it is pendants.
I think that's a good call. Plus, we've not seen either runner go over to Sahasrahla yet, I believe, so that's another 3 that you can check while you're out there doing that.
Trollet Graham in chat, what are they missing for Meyer? The Cane of Samaria to get to Vitreous.
We can actually do a very quick rundown here of what they're missing for each dungeon too. So besides Meyer needing Samaria, Eastern Palace, we need the bow to complete that. Tower of Hera is theoretically completable, but we need the hammer to get there.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So yeah, we need the hammer to get there. Pod, we need the hammer. Swamp Palace and the bow. And Pod, we need Swamp Palace, we need the hammer. Skullwoods is completable. It's a pendant. Ice Palace, hammer. Misery Mire, Cane of Samaria, Turtle Rock.
Ice Rod, technically.
Ice Rod, yes. For Trihex. Trihex is a streamer.
Yeah, Mclagging has showed us pretty much everything of Turtle Rock except the Fire Rod locked room, which you need the Cane of Samaria, and the boss, which you need the Cane of Samaria and the Ice Rod.
Yep, and the Fire Rod is in Turtle Rock. Mclagging found it by going all the way in reverse to the Chomp Room. So that was kind of the end of the line for that. But yeah, the hammer is really the big big item right now. That chat's making me laugh. Stop it. Anyways, yeah, hammer is kind of the biggest and most important item I think right now to find, simply because there's so many things that are just locked behind that hammer that will be opened as soon as that item is found. Bow, I think, would be the second most important thing to find, simply because you get a couple of full completes with that.
Yeah, and both of those things, by virtue of Pod and Easter being pendants, neither of those can be on the pedestal, but the Ice Rod, the Cane of Samaria, the boots, those could be on the pedestal. Interesting to see here, DKS is going to mirror to go pick up Jeremiah.
Very nice. And this again is a interesting thing that you really don't get to see outside of inverted mode, because you can't really do it outside of inverted mode.
It's also interesting because that's literally like that one tile space allows you to get Jeremiah, and there's no way he's, you know, that's the thing. It's just like, that's the way the developers made that part of the overworld. And it's like, they would have never thought of that almost 30 years ago when they made the game.
Well, way back in 1990, they knew this was going to happen one day. Yeah, Jax, they knew exactly that this was going to happen one day, and they were like, "We're ready."
All right, 2-strike count for Mclagging. Strike 3, the Lambos are out of the old ball game.
Nah, hit the showers, Lambo. You're done. And at the moment, DK taking that purple chest down to Gary. Gonna see what's inside of it. Well, Mclagging is going back to Dark World to check Meyer Shed and get a peek at the medallion for Misery Meyer.
Well, there's the third medallion.
It actually does something for DK, though. That's going to open up Ice Palace as far as getting inside. Obviously, we still need the hammer to get all the way down to Cold Stare, but
we are starting to see these runners make plays into imperfect dungeons. DKS heading for Ice, Mclagging heading for Meyer.
Indeed, I think at this point, Jax, you just kind of have to take a guess at it. You kind of have to think, what I've got, what can I do, what can I really do quickly and efficiently, and just, you know, cross your fingers, hope for the best.
Oh, the boots are in Ganon's tower!
Oh, no. I do think, though, that there's a small bit of good news in that. We know that there's not any required crystal dungeon item that's locked behind Blanc Rocks or King's Tomb, because Boots being in GT, if you can't complete the dungeon because you can't get the item, then that would be a logical fail, and that would make the seed incompletable.
Shovel and Meyer. Yeah, and the thing is that even in that chance that we were to go into Ganon's tower without the boots, and there's that 1 in 22 chance that the big key's there, that hint tells us that the boots are in GT.
Right. So if you see the key up on the torch, just keep checking chests till you find those boots, and then go back and get the key.
Thanks, game. We already got the unique item. Kind of needed it to get in here.
So far I haven't really seen anything too vital in either of our checks right now for our runners.
Yeah, shovel basically just gives us a fetch quest.
Oh no, DK.
DKS was having problems with that bomb jump, and then the fire bar just knocked him back.
He was just 1 pixel too far down at that one. He was 2 down instead of being 1 down. Yeah, this time. There you go.
Alright. And Sahasrara has cash.
Right. So these are nice things to know, even if you're not going to do them. Just so you know, hey, I don't have to worry about greed pendant locking something down. It's just a bunch of cash. Don't necessarily need that. Can go about my way.
Alright, second item is a big 20 of Myers, so out goes Mclagging.
I was about to say, we got another wonderful hint there. Some caches above the pose telling us that there's some money, and we already saw that as well in Graveyard Ledge.
And I think other than Iced Tea Room, we are pretty much gonna be done with Ice Palace. I forgot about the big chest, which just has a piece of heart, but a health refill for DKS.
Those are always the best. And DK gonna fall down, but get right back up again. Never gonna keep him down in the basement.
Meanwhile, Mclagging, strike the earth. There's the ice rod.
So Meyer is not only required for completion for the crystal, it's also got the item that leads you to the ice rod. Wow.
That also means, wait, that still need Kane Samari before you can finish Trinex. I always forget about that part.
Yep. He would need it either way. Even if he could do the magical hover of the gap, he would still need it because he doesn't have boots. Those are in GT, so. And DK, unfortunately, striking out in Ice Palace. Gonna have to back out here.
So at this point, we've got first chest in Swamp, Skullwoods for Mclagging, and Pendant Pod and Pendant Eastern.
I know there's an aversion to checking pendant stuff because you just want to be able to get through it quickly, and pendant's always like it's a slog. But you know, I think at this point that is the play. And we are seeing DK go over to Eastern Palace here. I think there's got to be something over here. There's just so many chests. The odds that there's absolutely nothing, especially since we've seen 2 dungeons come up almost completely empty on progression, except for that shovel. You would think that there's a lot of progression locked away somewhere else.
Well, we're gonna finally see Sahasrara's closet. And just to Fisher Price my first shield.
Mclagging dragging the chest past the guard conga line there. Get his Bombos medallion. As far as what's on pedestal, we know that it's not boots. It's not.
It pretty much can only be the King of Samaria.
Yep. Yeah, a little too far forward there, DK. Ended up mirroring right into Palace of Darkness. Palace of Darkness itself. And we're going to see a nice little trick there with the bomb, using the bomb to kind of walk through the portal.
He does get damaged back, but iframes prevent him from going through the portal. Alright, there's the big key, so we are bow locked out of pod. You could use the potion glitch to get 2 items.
I think that's exactly what we're going to see DK do right now, is use that potion glitch to move the camera. So for those who don't know how that works, what you're going to do is you're going to drink the potion while you're walking to the left here, I believe, and it will kind of untether the camera from being centered on you. Some arrows are in plain sight. It's like 6 locations. We saw that earlier. There's the potion. Oh, he's gonna take damage first before he can use it, looks like.
Mm-hmm. And gets it done. Just walk the green mimics off screen, and Viola game thinks all the mimics are dead.
Yep, so you just gotta move those gorillas to the left. Game doesn't sense them anymore as being on screen and opens the door for you, even though they're still alive. He does have 2 keys now, so that's gonna let him progress on.
Now this is sequence broken until we find the bow.
Hey, some bombs required to hammer. That's great. Where's the hammer at?
I really wanted it to be in the eastern big chest.
That would have been something. So we've got one more chest here to check for Mclagging before we get to the Armos Knights, which without the bow we're not going to be able to finish. And DK is throwing a bomb over there, walk past the Helmsaur, and boom, there we go.
Another small key. There's Cane of Samaria.
And that should pretty much put head. It won't kill it completely. There's still a chance that there could be like a fetch quest thing there, but you know, I just can't see anything else of importance being on there right now.
Bow and hammer can't be there, and those are the only 2 things we need for go mode at this point. We know the boots are in GT.
Yeah, the only thing that could be would be like powder, and then Powder Bat has bow or hammer.
But again, that couldn't work because then the bow or the hammer would be locked behind the pedestal.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty much ped dead at this point. Unfortunately, sorry everybody who's hoping for a ped seed. Not today.
Okay, second shield upgrade in Pod. And Pod's a bust. I think this is going to set up really well for Mclagging, especially because DKS isn't even bothering with Eastern. Because now Mclagging can finish Turtle Rock, he can finish Meyer. So that's at least 2 dungeons that can be completed. And then he can do Pendant Skullwoods, and there's always still the first chest in Swamp Palace.
100% on the nose there, Jex. I think this is really setting up nice for Mclagging with the find of the Cane of Samaria to get those first 2 dungeons that you mentioned, Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, completed out of the way. So there'll be 2 more crystals done. And we'll probably find, I would assume at some point, with everything we've got, we'll find bow or hammer in one of these locations here.
Hookshot is in the sewers. Thanks, chat. Thank you chat. Thank you, game. Thank you very much.
These hints are not very helpful today. They're just kind of showing up either immediately before we find an item or after we've already found one.
Alright, so nothing in the top of Turtle Rock. We just have Trinex left. So we're going to see DKS get the Fire Rod here shortly. And then, kind of see where DKS goes from there.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting here for DKS. Looking at just, what decisions he's going to make after finding this item.
What's interesting right now is, well, Mclagging has an advantage right now in terms of Eastern having the Cane of Samaria. And then the Shovel being Ice Rod. So he's done a lot more. But it's still going to, I think in a lot of ways, depend on where the bow and the hammer are.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what we're going to end up finding out here is where those two items are will determine a lot of where we have to go. And DK is just kind of thinking now, you know, I've got these items, but I don't have other things. Where do I go?
I think he's heading for Skullwoods, which would make sense. Now, for those that may have just joined us, I did get a chance to talk to both runners before the race started, and DKS did point out this is his third time playing inverted. So, what you may be seeing is some of the things of this still being new to DKS coming into play here.
It's worth noting, of course, we have a way that we set this up is that the higher seed gets to pick the first race and the lower seed will pick the second race. The third one is determined at random. So with both runners having one veto each. So this
and
is
with
Mclagging's choice.
Yep, because he was the higher seed. Mclagging's not going to try for the 0 cycle. Oh, I mean, leaving the heads in the shell, but it doesn't matter. Gets it done rapidly. But doesn't matter. Spin and a slash and a Trinex is a dead.
Let's see what pops out here.
300 bucks.
He doesn't have the boots, so he can't 0 cycle. And of course, the boots are in GT, so he's not going to get the boots to do a 0 cycle.
Once again, I suck at this game, so that's why I didn't know you kind of need the boots for the 0 cycle.
It's okay. There's a lot. It's always kind of hard to remember some of the things that go into those strats and tactics, because there's a lot that goes into a lot of these strats. It look like they're relatively easy to execute, but not all the time are they as easy to do as, say, a fake flip, or even that can be a little bit difficult sometimes.
But with Mclagging heading to ice, DKS has already seen this. We know he's not going to find anything here. And so we're really kind of down to first chest swamp and what's left in Skullwoods.
And here's Mathula.
And bye, Mothula. Alright, just a compass there.
I believe we went straight back, so I don't think we saw the check of that first chest. Yeah, because DK is going back in. And there's that first chest down there.
Struct asking in chat, doesn't Butter do no damage to Moth? In NMG, yes. Butter does not damage Mothula because that's the spike damage. In the randomizer, the devs took care of that.
Yep, that was a fix that they made, simply because the game has that spike damage value for the Butter Sword, as Jex was saying, and of course there's all the spikes going around in that room, so Mothula needs to be able to not die in his own boss room, so does not take damage at that value. Yeah, shout out to our wonderful dev team for making all of these adjustments as need be.
So I gotta think, as chat's pointing out, first chest in Swamp's gotta have something.
Yeah, it looks like DK's heading over towards Swamp. I think DK's thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because we got both items in Mire, right?
Absolutely. Because we saw Mclagging go ahead and mirror out. Once I think it was the second one was a big 20 or something like that.
Yeah, it was Shovel and Big 20. That was it. Which Shovel then led to Ice Rod. So there is something of value in Mire, just not the one of the two things that we kind of need right now.
Cadenza's asking, has the Smith chain been done? Yes, it has.
We also have seen it. We also have. Bleh, sorry, didn't mean to step on you there. We also have seen a hint that Fat Fairy is useless. Spike Cave don't have the hammer. Yeah, something has to be here.
Bottle is in the sewers. Man, these hints today, Jax, these have been grade A hints. They've been amazing hints. And you have to be thinking right now, just based on location, this chest that's coming up here, the first chest in Swamp on the left here behind this bombable wall, it's got to be hammer. Or it's got to be bow that leads to hammer at this point.
Well, D or da hammer, it's da hammer.
And that's going to be a welcome sight for DKS.
Alright, so Mclagging is heading for Skullwoods now. Alright, so let's handicap this a bit. DKS is going to do full clear of Swamp, which still is fine because we still need the bow. If he finds bow in here, he's still going to be full clearing because Cane of Samaria and Ice Rod are still outstanding for him, but we know Mire has the shovel that leads to Ice Rod, and then Cane of Samaria is at Eastern Palace. So I think once it's still kind of too early because it's still hammer opens up so much that we're still kind of on the lookout for the bow.
Yeah, if you're future DKS watching this right now, that you're hoping that you find, well, actually, if you're future DKS, you know exactly how this goes. But if you're cheering for DKS, at least you're hoping he finds the bow first, and then goes and does Eastern and Pod, clears those out, and then maybe goes to Misery Mire with the Cane of Samaria, completes that to get the shovel for the Ice Rod, and then just gets to go mode Turtle Rock. And Ice Palace, but he's already full cleared Ice Palace anyways. Just has to go beat Colts there.
Super Jamoose, what does inverted mode mean? It means that we start in the dark world and then we have to go to the light world. So we've basically inverted. That's what we mean by when we invert everything. As you just saw, the flute works in the dark world. The mirror takes you from light world to dark world. GT is now Agatower. Agatower is now GT. And Ganon falls into a hole in Hyrule Castle.
And there's all kinds of little small mobility related changes here because of the fact that you can't mirror two locations from the dark world to get to them in the light world. So they've been adjusted so that you can now access them, such as the south of Grove Cave, Lake Hylia Island, Bombos Tablet. those kind of locations, the ones that were normally mirror locked in a vanilla game.
Okay. So Mclagging is making his play for Swamp Palace. So if the bow is here, that puts Mclagging into go mode. If it's not here, it still kind of comes down to where's the bow. Meyer, we've already seen full cleared. Vitreous doesn't have an item. That's all that's outstanding in Meyer. Ice Palace is the hammer locked locations. We haven't been to Hera because we've needed the hammer to get to Hera. We've been to Eastern. We know the Cane of Samaria is there. Rage slashes from Mclagging.
Mclagging with the happy slashes. So happy. He loves that hammer so much.
Oh, Chad also bring up a good point. We don't need the bow until GT because of Eastern and Pod.
Good point.
So
Boy, that would be mean.
Mclagging can get to GT now. I totally wasn't thinking about that. Duh. This technically is not go mode because you still need the bow for go mode.
DK having second thoughts there about going upstairs. Just decide to go back down again. He's gonna go ahead and check big chest, just bombs.
And actually, now that I'm thinking about the fact that you don't need the bow until GT, I think that is gonna give Mclagging an advantage, because basically the only dungeons we have not checked yet that have locations or have item locations are the crystal dungeons that Mclagging has to do anyway. All the pendant dungeons have been combed out. The one that has the Cane of Samaria is the one that DKS hasn't done. So I think it's pretty safe to say Mclagging has an advantage, even though we can't call him into go mode just yet without the bow.
I would think so as well. Having 3 crystals, you DKs 2 right now. I'm about to pick up number 4 here upon completion of Swamp Palace. And having Misery Mire, which would be number 5, pretty much cleared out. He's just going to go in there and go mode that. Ice Palace pretty much cleared out. Tower of Hera is a very short dungeon. Yeah, I'd say he's got a lead right now.
And as Jay Coper is pointing out in chat, Mclagging also should know at this point that you won't ever have to go back into Pod, because we already know that Pod won't have the bow because it is bow locked.
Same thing with Eastern Palace. He's cleared that out, and we know that not going to need to go back in there to get the bow off Armros Knights, which you need the bow to beat.
Alright, but DKS has Argus down as Mclagging is heading in.
Alright, DK, so what's the play here for you?
Looks like Ice Palace.
Maybe just go wrap that up, I guess.
Chat's continuing to talk about where the bow might be. SRS Business, overworld locations that would be left would be Peg Cave, Spike Cave, and Mimic Cave. The thing is, we did see a hint that Mimic Cave is useless, so it's just Peg Cave and Spike Cave.
I think we're just going to see DK go down here just immediately, quickly do cold stare, get that cleaned out.
There still are those two items on the right side of Ice Palace blocked by the hammer that DKS will most likely check because he's still 3 items away from go mode.
Well, imagine if the bow shows up there.
That may actually be the only thing. That may be the only thing that may help DKS at this point, is that if Mclagging were to make a mistake and, like, those 2 chests are where the bow is and Mclagging just go modes Ice Palace and leaves it orphaned.
Yeah, that would certainly give DK a chance to really pull back here, because if he makes that play, if it is on the left side, he decides to, on the right side decides to skip it, I feel like Mclagging would be thinking that it's in GT because of the fact that, you know, we have the 22 item locations there. So
SRS Business also pointing out in chat, was there an item in the Thieves Town big chest? We did see the small key. I think we got all the dungeon items. Huh?
Yeah, we did. We talked about this like a long time ago because we were talking about whether we'd seen the map or not, and I think we determined that, yeah, we'd seen all the dungeon items. We didn't have the hammer, so yeah, there should be an item in there.
And the bow certainly could be there. Alright, so now Mclagging is going to follow DKS into Ice Palace.
And it looks like, at least the good news for Mclagging is that was not the case. That there's nothing of great importance on the right side of Ice Palace there.
Chad also pointing out with the boots being in GT, there are also other trolley locations where the boat could be like bonk rocks.
Oh boy.
But DKS just puts Cold Stare in a corner, gets him down, and more sticks.
Yeah, who doesn't love sticks? Yeah, DK is just kind of following logic here. I think gonna go take care of Tower of Hera.
We are 90 minutes in, and we haven't had a chance to say that. I mean, if you have been enjoying what Mclagging and dKs89 have been showing for us, please be sure to give both of them follows on Twitch. They are most deserving of your follows. for putting on quite a great race for us tonight.
Yes, indeed. And I know runners always appreciate the follows. 100%. They love having people in their community. So definitely give them both a follow. They're both fairly good runners too that you'll see not only doing the tournament, but daily races and all kinds of crazy things. And this will be another location that we get to kind of eliminate from the prize pool. We'll probably actually see DK go ahead and check the tablet first, and then go into Tower of Hera.
Certainly would make sense. Just heart container.
Mclagging is about to drop on in. Say hello to our chilly eyeball friend. We need to get this Boston Visine.
Alright, big key in the basement, so coffee break on hold.
And the gnome asks you to guess its name. That's our hint.
I think the name might be Rumpelstiltskin?
It might be. It might be. So Mclagging actually going now back to Misery Mire to complete that. So getting that one out of the way. It's going to be a straight rush, I think, to Vitreous.
Mm-hmm.
Unique items in Thieves Town.
That would have been the power. That would have been the power glove. But there is still that item in the Thieves Town big chest. DKS, why are you trying to do a bomb jump? Especially because you fall down the troll hole when you have the hook shot.
I don't know. Is DKS going for swag points there? Is a little bit of falling with style there.
Oh, chat reminding me again, because he doesn't have the boots, he then can't bonk back. That's what he was trying to do.
Oh yeah, that's right.
My apologies, chat.
He's trying to set that. Yeah, it's tough to set up some of these bomb jumps, especially this one, because you gotta be so precise on where you're standing. As we saw there with DK, when you fall off, you end up, you get a big 20 in the chest, and then you end up falling down 2 floors. So DK is going to be on the Moldorm fight, while Mclagging will be approaching the Vitreous fight. And we already know, indeed, for those wondering where the boots are, they are in Ganon's tower somewhere.
Ooh, DKS getting trolled.
And for those in chat asking where was the where did the hammer end up being, first chest in Swamp Palace.
Oh! Trolldorm is being extra trolly today.
Trolldorm just blocking everything. Get out of my house! Get out of my house! No, literally get out of my house. This is where I live, Tower of Hera.
Alright, well, DKS takes down Trolldorm. Mclagging is playing big badminton with the big eyeball. We're gonna have simultaneous crystal drops. And still looking for the bow.
Yep, we do know that that means the item that's in the basement for Tower of Hera is a dungeon item. I believe it's a compass, and it's not going to be worth getting. So DK is going to walk on out of here, and Mclagging will be heading to Tower of Hera. Last dungeon to complete.
And that also means that we are still on the lookout for the bow. Mclagging will be able to get into GT, and we know the boots are in GT, so if we need the boots to get the GT big key, that most likely means we'll be able, it has to be accessible to get it, but we still need the bow to run the gauntlet.
Do we see? No, we don't see him make this decision right now.
Basically, what's left on the table is we've got Spike Cave, we've got Peg Cave, we've got an item in the Thieves Town big chest, and Magic Bat. We have not seen Magic Bat. Bonk Rocks with those boots, King's Tomb with those boots. So there's still some trolley locations where that, where the bow could be. Wait, what is DKS doing?
I don't know. Oh, Spike Cave?
Yeah, it might be what he's doing.
Yeah, we did check Lumberjack Ledge. It's just a 10-pack of the arrows.
Chad also reminding me we still need the Titan's Mids for King's Tomb.
It's kind of one of the interesting things about this seed. You don't normally see people getting ready to go into GT without the Titan's Mids.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with inverted mode, is that pretty much everything that was blocked by the mids, for the most part, that had to be undone in order to make inverted mode work. And King's Tomb is pretty much the only thing that still needs Titan's mids. And for Mclagging, he'll most likely be heading for GT after this. DKS still has to get the Ice Rod by getting the shovel in Misery Mire, and then get the Cane of Samaria in Eastern Palace.
Wait a minute. DK, what are you doing?
The bow can't be on the pedestal.
Yeah, it's on the pedestal, my friend. You need it to beat those two things. Oh, we're gonna get a pet check.
It's gonna be a little bit of love.
Oh, I wonder if he was thinking Kane was on there.
Oh, right. Kane or Ice Rod. We forgot about that because he doesn't know where those are. We do, because Mclagging has all 7 crystals. That means it is time for our little favorite game we like to play, in that there are 22 locations where that Ganon's Tower big key can be in the basement of Ganon's Tower. If you want to play in that guessing game, you do need to guess the number between 1 and 22 in chat. However, you will need to have subscribed to one of our 6-speed gaming channels or donated 250 bits in order to play that guessing game. Guys, chat is...
Guys, we haven't started yet.
The bot wasn't started, so hold on. I'm gonna... Everyone stop.
It's a little bit like a freight train. It takes a little bit of time to slow down here, but...
Alright, so we're gonna restart, or I'm gonna start the bot now. So everyone get your guesses in now. Our apologies, the bot didn't get started. Alright, so Nihon Tiger, what's your guess?
I'll just throw it in chat. I'm gonna say 19. Let's put that bad boy right behind Armos Knights. See a couple of 22s in there. What about you, Jax?
I'm gonna say 6.
It's a nice guess. So the one thing that we're not seeing is we're not seeing Mclagging make the call just to go to GT and check in there. He's checking these overworld locations, so I think there's an assumption that well, maybe not now, but definitely was making the assumption. No, he's gonna go ahead and gamble actually.
Yeah, he's heading in now, so final chances, guesses are closed.
And you know, it's not a bad call. Again, we got 20, and we do have 22 locations here just in the bottom alone. That's a high. You're looking for the key in one of those 22 locations, and the bow being one of those two. That's a pretty high probability that it's could be in here.
Which there was a key in chest number 2.
And that does mean that we go to the right side here.
Yep.
And of course, this is kind of the generally accepted quickest routing when you find that right side key is to go here, get these 4, grab a key from under a pot, and you're back to the start. You know, different runners will do different tactics, so it's always very interesting to see who chooses to do what.
Oh! Bow number 3, red mail number 4, big key number 5.
Oh man, that right side play, that is incredible play.
That pretty much is gonna give Mclagging a huge advantage right now.
Oh yeah, he's good to go. He is good to go up through Gauntlet right now. Got everything he's gonna need.
And the first sub or supporter to correctly guess number 5 was Cryptix. Congratulations, you have been added to our leaderboard.
Congratulations, Cryptix. Well done. And we do not have silvers yet, so that would be the one nice thing that we could find. But I think regardless, we'll see Mclagging do silverless cannon. It won't be too bad with the butter sword.
Yeah, butter sword, red mail, silverless cannon fight. I always say I suck at this game. I can even do that.
So for those in chat wondering, where are the Ice Rod and Cane, which are what DKS is looking for right now, they'll get an item that leads them to the Ice Rod, the shovel, in a moment here. The Cane's in what would be the big key chest in Eastern Palace, which DK has not gone into Eastern Palace yet. And the boots are in Ganon's Tower. We just don't know where, because we got everything pretty much we needed on the right side. Mclagging just said, yeah, I'm good. I don't need boots.
Swing and a miss for Mclagging. Gonna go ahead and burn a blue potion here.
I think that's the one. Is that the one blue that he had left?
Yep.
It's not a bad spot to burn it. You're usually kind of low on magic at that point. Let's walk through the most satisfying room in the game, part 1.
And now for most satisfying room in the game, the second.
Doing a nice job there. Walking past those guards.
Yeah, for those in chat asking what happened, essentially, Ice Rod was at the
Shovel
dig spot because the shovel was at Mire. Cane of Samaria was at Eastern Palace. Both runners went to Pod, but DKS forgot to do Eastern, hence not getting the Cane of Samaria.
There's the Titan's mitts. Top of the tower in GT.
And in inverted mode, stuff like that is possible. Alright, time for Choldorm 2.
And we're done.
There goes Choldorm.
And Mclagging saying, nope, I'm going to do this silverless. Not going to even open that last chest.
He's being a good citizen of Hyrule. You don't want to be a thief and take things that don't belong to you.
Well, the interesting thing is if you slow down that sound that plays when Choldorm 2 dies, it actually says, no, you've defeated me, I'm leaving you an item, please take it.
I don't understand, I don't speak Choldorm. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, meanwhile, Mclagging taking care of Aga. It's one more. There we go.
Yep,
and we're
three double hits, and it is time for the big pig.
Shortest Ganon trip ever. Hey, thank you, nutrition experts. Get those whole grains in there. You should have enough swipes here, I think, after this. That'll get him into phase 3.
Yep. DKS getting that ice rod. And we're into phase 3.
Missed the first one, unfortunately. Gonna get that spiral fire bat. He's got the lantern now. He's thinking torch glitch.
And I think DKS is going to be heading to Eastern, and we'll be getting that Cane of Samaria.
Oh,
Silvers were, in fact, in GT. Alright, so now 12 Butter Sword spins, and we will have bacon.
I think that's 6, so we should be about halfway.
And there we have it.
And Mclagging was getting a couple extra swings in there. on the teleports, doing a very nice, efficient job of getting it done.
Just gotta hold that sword high. Walk through the door, and Mclagging finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour 55 minutes flat. Spam those GGs in chat.
Actually, we need to go to Wild's chat and spam those emotes in there.
That's
but you can
true.
also spam them in our chat too.
Alright, I think Mclagging is going to join us for an interview.
Absolutely, we'll get him in here in just a moment.
And joining us in chat is Mclagging, GG. Mclagging, you there?
Oh, yep, now I can hear you.
Awesome.
Hey, GG.
How you feeling, man?
Better now that that's over. That hunt for the hammer was really worrying me a whole lot.
Yeah. The hammer just has a knack to be going to first chested swamp when it wants to be really trolly.
Absolutely, and of course, this was your decision to go with the inverted seed here. Was that a kind of a tactical decision on your part? Do you have a lot of experience with the inverted right now, or you just think it would be kind of a fun experience to play through this?
I've been practicing inverted a lot more lately, and I feel pretty confident that I can at least do well. But then this whole seed, just walking around everywhere with bootless, is just everything seemed to take forever.
And of course, the silver arrows and the boots, both in GT, as well as that right side. Holy cow, that was an impressive right side with the red mail, bow, and the big key all showing up in the compass room there.
Once I got that, I just laughed. I was like, okay, now we're good. My biggest worry was that the boots were going to be in there and that would lead to the bow.
Yeah, we were kind of teasing out, like, how trolly would this have been, because honestly, the way this seed kind of played out, the Cane of Samaria being an Eastern Palace, and then the Ice Rod being a dig spot from the shovel being in Mire, those two things were kind of were the things that did in DKS.
Gotcha. I was looking for the hammer and I got that cane out of Eastern. I was like, if hammer is somewhere else that's easily accessible, that finding the cane there at least should save me some time, because that was a really bad spot for the cane to be at.
Yeah, you both were in pod around the same time. It's just that DKS, when he finished up pod, I'm trying to remember, did you do potion glitch as well, or did you just nope out as soon as you got the big key?
I noped out once I saw it was bow locked.
Okay, because DKS actually did do a potion glitch and checked all of pod, which had nothing, and then saved and quit before checking Eastern. So that's part of why it took him forever to go back to get the Cane of Samaria.
It was actually a really good decision on your part to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, at that point, I don't think all I had left for the hammer hunt was about Swamp and Skull Woods. I don't think I even had anything else left that I could have done.
No, it was... At that time, it was pretty much down to one or the other.
And if I'm looking at the challenge right, this is your first win, right?
Yes.
Well, indeed, congratulations on that. So you've got one in the win column right now. Really tough group that you're in. You've got quite a not to put it lightly, but quite an uphill challenge here with both Wayne and Andy in this group, and top two going on to the bracket stage. So every win's going to be very important in this group that you're in.
Oh yeah. So everybody in this group is really good. Even like Killer Rat being our 6th seed, like he's he does really well. Anytime I've raced with him, and dKs and Matt, they've beaten me in races plenty of times too. So it's like, any win I can get, I'm gonna be happy with.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sure you'll see somebody might be like 1 in 5 in this group at some point and be like, wow, you know, people might look at that, but that record's going to be really kind of deceptive with the runners that are in this group. There's a lot of good people, in Group G here, so definitely got to keep that in mind.
And I think at this point we are getting confirmation that dKs has unfortunately decided to forfeit the race.
That's a shame, but I can't at the same time really blame them. Probably looking at, you know, another 20 minutes doing this, already knowing that, you know, you're behind, you've already lost the race, but you know, kind of lick your wounds, practice a little bit more, and come back next time swinging. So that's usually what we'll see.
Yeah, that one was a bit of a struggle, and I mean, inverted. I mean, that's the thing with such a new mode. You know, a lot of the different things that you normally would do are just change, and you just have to come up with your different methods and whatnot. So, trying to see if we can get dKs in for an interview, but haven't heard from him yet. I guess Mclagging, while we're looking at that, any final thoughts in terms of the tournament overall, inverted mode, anything, you know, any other remarks from the seed?
Not too much. This one was a really tough one, so dKs shouldn't feel too bad about it. And I'm sure probably our next game he'll pick something fun for us, and he'll probably beat me in that one. But otherwise, thanks for commentary, guys, and tracking and restreaming. This was a good race, so I was happy about that.
Well, thank you very much, Mclagging. We really appreciate it. Everyone in chat, please be sure to give both Mclagging and dKs89 follows on Twitch. Again, they put on quite a great show for us tonight. And I think I'm going to give dKs one more minute, and then I think we'll wrap up shop. So, Nihon Tiger, I mean, it was a very interesting seed. A lot of tension with the bow. I didn't mean to make that pun, but you know, it's rando's gonna rando. I kind of think is the way it ends up.
I think that's exactly what it is. This has been a very good reminder of just what kind of chaotic stuff we can find in these randomized seeds. Things can just kind of go, I don't know if I would say sideways, but you know, they can be very trolly. And we saw that today with that hammer in Swamp Palace, and right before you needed to.
All right. So I'm going to pull up the schedule here, because we do have a couple of races coming up. You were, in fact, actually, here just underway, that group that Mclagging and dKs are in, Andy and Killer App are on Speed Gaming 4 right now. They're doing it. If you thought this was bad, now try doing it swordless, because that's what Andy and Killer App are doing right now.
Andy, I assume based on the game mode alone, I'm fairly certain that was Andy's call.
Yeah,
he would pick
that one.
Yeah, he would pick that.
We also have
6:30.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to step on you there. Because we got two all dungeon open swordless hard Randomizer races Tulane and Big Dunka will be here on Speed Gaming 3 in about an hour. And then on the main Speed Gaming channel, we'll have SA versus Sonicam. And then we have an All Dungeons Uncle Assured Sword at 9:30 on this on this channel. JTB versus Solski. So if you want more Zelda Randomizer, be sure to stay out here on Speed Gaming 3 and all of the other Speed Gaming networks. Nihon Tiger, sorry, I did not mean to step on you there, but any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Not a problem. I was just going to go over some of those races as well. So glad to see that you got up on that. We have actually also more races tomorrow starting at 10:30. Don't have channels assigned for those yet, but we'll get those obviously announced. And make sure you follow so that you'll have the alerts show up when those do go live tomorrow. But overall, this is a very interesting seed with a lot of dungeon dipping, a lot of trilliness. Even for something like inverted, it was very interesting with the routing choices that our runners had to make, and really came down to a point where it was just a guess. Where do I go? And I feel like Mclagging made the right call, and dKs made the right call, but a little bit later, and that kind of turned the whole thing around, I think.
Yeah, such is the nature of Rando. Sometimes you make the right choices, sometimes you make the wrong ones. Doesn't necessarily mean they were bad plays. It's what the Rando gods are gonna give to you. We do want to give a shout out to our tracker, Phantom Black Ice. Did a great job keeping track of all the items that we found across this zany seed. And Nihon Tiger, that's 2 in a row that we've got to commentate together. It's a pleasure as always.
Absolutely, Jex. Maybe we'll make it 3 in a row. We'll see what the scheduling gods have to say about that one.
Yeah, that one's out of our control. But anywho, thank you to the Speed Gaming staff. Thank you to all the volunteers behind the scenes that make this tournament possible, and all the runners that put on all of this entertainment. Thank you, chat, for being with us tonight. I am Jex Refi for Nihon Tiger. We'll see you next mission.
As always, good luck, good RNG. Remember, someone out there loves you, and we love you too. Take care. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye.